Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talk about a team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right. We're in the midst of it, right? The game is tomorrow. It's pretty much a must win. If we lose to the Titans, bro, I don't even know. This is going to be crazy because the Titans are probably the worst team in the league. And they're playing pretty bad. And the only reason they won a game is because the Cardinals did to the Titans what we did to the Bears, kept them in the game with a bunch of turnovers. And that's really the only reason why they won that game. They're not good. They're only averaging like 14 points a game. That's the worst in the league. Cam Ward's been sacked like 19 times. The running game isn't anything to speak of. They don't have really that many explosive plays. They stay close in games when they are close, like on opportunistic defense and turnovers and things like that. They fumbled the 7 times this year. They fumbled the ball. And Cam Ward's only thrown 3 picks, but I mean, there's a lot of fumbles. There's 10 total turnovers. So this is a team that I think we can handle pretty easily if we play clean. It's not going to take a Herculean effort by this team to win. We can beat the Titans. We just have to play clean. No missteps on special teams. No turnovers. If we just do those 2 things, we will win. But I'm going to give you some defensive keys against the Titans. Against the rush, we're 13th in the league, okay? So we're not terrible. We're bottom average against the run in the NFL. Against the pass, we're 25th, and we're pretty bad as far as points allowed because of those 2 blowout losses. But I think this is going to be a get-right game for us because this is going to be like what they want to do versus what we do well. They want to run the ball early and downs. They want to give Cam Ward, their young quarterback, manageable third downs. Where we really need to step up is in third down conversions. We're one of the worst in the league the last few weeks in allowing for third down conversions. If we can make those throwing situations for Cam Ward, this offensive line is pretty shaky, and Cam Ward, being a rookie, he's a little bit slower at really processing things, so we can definitely get to him. There's where the turnovers are going to come into play, and that's where we can really jump on this team and win this game handily. The more I look at it, I'm going to stick to my bet. The over-under is only 41.5. I think we're going to go under that while covering the 5 and a hook, the 5.5. That's my bet, okay? If you want to place your own action, go ahead and go to my bookie. All my socials and all of my sponsors are in the link tree in the description below. Make sure you use the promo code SOTO if you sign up. Then you get some freebies and some cool stuff for you there. But that's how I'm going to bet. I'm going to go ahead and go with the under 41.5, but the Raiders to cover. I've heard 13-26. I've heard 24-17. That's pretty close to the 41.5, right? 23-16-ish, around there. I've heard all these types of scores. I think it's going to be about that. I can see the Titans getting a touchdown and a couple of field goals. I can see us scoring like 3 touchdowns and a field goal. I think that'll cover us, and that'll get under. And the reason why I say that, because this team is not great defensively as far as the Titans go. I can see us having maybe a lower scoring, more methodical drives because I think we're going to attack this defense on the back of Ashton Jetty. I don't think we're going to allow Ashton Jetty to really grind down this defense. And because of that, we're going to limit our possessions. We're going to limit our plays. We're going to limit our time because we're just going to eat up a lot of clock and really make these drives count. We have to get better in the red zone. We have to have an identity in the red zone. Your identity in the middle of the field is completely different, or can be completely different, from your identity in the red zone. When you get in there, I don't want to see shotgun in the red zone. I just don't want to see it. I don't think that it's productive. I think it's telling the defense way too much. And I don't think we can use a lot of things that work in our favor, like play action and things like that. So these are some things that I'm looking for. Now, defensively, we can pressure Cam Ward, and we need to pressure Cam Ward. Leaving Cam Ward in the pocket or letting him escape the pocket and create. This guy's got a live arm, man. He's got a really nice arm. He can make some really good throws if you give him time. We have to speed up his clock and really make it difficult for him. The way we have to do that initially is stopping the run. Not a great running team, but they can hurt you just like anybody else in the NFL if you don't come correct. What we want to do right now is take a quick peek at what defensive coordinator Patrick Graham had to say in his presser for this week.
from a pass rush standpoint, what do you guys think you guys need to do to improve on that?
Say one more time.
From a pass rushing standpoint, what do you feel like you need to improve in that area?
Pass rusher goes hand in hand with the coverage, so I got to do a better job of creating opportunities for the guys in terms of just tying together the coverage and the rush, and then and then it comes down to those guys working together and win their individual battles when it comes up, whether the slides one way or the other, but really got to tie it all together a little better on my standpoint.
What do you see from Campbell as we watch it?
You see he has a live arm. He definitely has a live arm. He made a couple really good seam throws throughout the year. Has real good command of the offense for a rookie in terms of the check system they're using. You can see him doing that. I thought they did a good job with that. And then the poise at the end of the game, last game, you saw that come through. Crazy situations and circumstances how they won, but it was just real. You saw some poise there at the end. That throw down there in the 4 minute or the two minute that turned into 4 minute was a pretty good throw on the sideline.
Do you get the sense he's better out of structure at this point in his career?
A lot of the quarterbacks right now are doing a good job because they're so athletic. It's a little bit different than when I first got in the league, but there's so many guys that can make plays out of the pocket when the protection breaks down. I've seen them make the quick, easy throws from three-step standpoint, getting the ball out on time, but a lot of the explosive plays have been with him moving around. So, you can see a combination of the two.
When you're dealing with that as a defensive coordinator with quarterbacks with mobility, does that change sometimes, whether it's a man look for you or a zone coverage look? And what are the dangers of playing a man cover against that guy?
Well, it depends on what type of man you're talking about. There's man where you might have a spy on the quarterback, which you're accounting for the quarterback. You have to do that because you're assuming the coverage players have their eyes turned away. Then there's man where, you might be playing with too high and everybody calls that two-man. That's when it gets most dangerous. So a quarterback like that might limit you from being able to do that, so you stay away from those coverages because you're like, everybody's got their back turned. But you definitely have to take it into account. And in zone you have to take it into account, and then you can't lose it when they scramble. But you can see he's doing a good job playing in the pocket, and then when he gets out, getting his eyes down the field and throwing the ball.
Calvin Ridley had a big week last week. What stands out to you about his game and what makes him a tough cover?
Just the familiarity with him from previous years in terms of the speed, the quickness, the ability to get vertical into the defense really quick, whether it's the slants or the seam balls, and you could tell by how they're moving them around. Obviously, the intelligence in terms of how they can scheme him up. So he's one of those guys, I would assume that he's a scheme guy in terms of you try to put him here for a matchup. You try to put him here to stress the defense out. So, very talented player with good speed and quickness. And, he could beat you just like that. So you got to be mindful of that.
We're seeing more and more varying quarter. What have you seen in him just getting better each week?
He works really hard in the classroom. He's real diligent in terms of his pre-practice, in terms of working his technique. You're seeing technique improvement overall. And, he has the traits. He's long, he's fast, he has an element of toughness to him. He's learning to tackle better. That was the main thing I wanted to see from him. And he's growing into his frame. He's a tall, linear guy who's growing into his frame. You got to think about it. He hasn't been playing defensive back for a long time. So it's been interesting to see him grow, and I'm just looking forward to seeing it improve.
What was your reaction to the team moving on from Jermaine Pratt?
Just, again, Coach already talked about that. So, love having good players around, and then it is what it is when we make decisions.
Who are you looking forward to step up in his absence?
I'm looking forward to the defense just stepping up, just in general. Just the linebacker position. It's going to take all 11 out there. We'll see who's out there playing and things of that nature. But it's going to take a good effort to replace a good player like that.
A young quarterback like Caillou challenged them a lot. How do you feel like he's responded to that?
The way a football player is supposed to respond at this level, get back to work, grind at it. You can't play cornerback in this position and not have in this league and not have a short memory. Again, when you see it on tape, someone getting beat, it's not just one person's fault usually. So, they gotta have a short memory, move on. And thankfully we get 17 of these opportunities, and, this is week 6 and it's time to go. Everybody's hungry for a win.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, Pete Carroll mentioned that Charles Snowden was a guy who was expected to also step up for Jermaine. When you look at Charles Snowden and kind of what he's been doing in that outside linebacker type of position, what have you seen from him that you really liked?
You know, the one thing that Snow did a great job of last year and has continued, we asked him the physicality to show us that. You know, he has the length, he has all the measurables. We wanted to see the physicality, and he's answered that in terms of displaying it in practice, throughout training camp, and even when he got into the game. So that's a positive. And then to have the flexibility as an outside linebacker to be able to play coverage, rush, be productive in terms of batted balls. This guy, you know, he got his hand on the ball last week. You know, he does it in practice all the time. And then I honestly think the big guys, especially the edge guys like the Maxx, the Malcolms, their energy is contagious. So he's a great energy guy in terms of how he works out there on the field. He's vocal, he works hard, he flies around the field. When you see those long bodies flying around the field, it picks up the defense, picks up the team. So,
how do you work on improving on third down? Is it practice in situational football? Is it play calling? How do you work on that?
The thing focused on make it less manageable third downs. You know, like you look at last week, I don't know, like 5 or 6 of them were like 4 or less. So to me, it's me doing a better job of those 2nd and 10s that we're forcing and get them to be 3rd and 10s. So that it starts there, and then putting the players in the best position to execute for what they do best. But you know, really took a hard look at those 2nd down plays because we're forcing a lot of 2nd and 10s because the guys are doing a good job on the run game on 1st and 10. They're staying back on the early down pass game in terms of no shots. So do a better job there with those 2nd downs.
The defense has caused some tip balls and some batted balls, like you mentioned with Snowden, but they're not coming up with the turnover. Is that just it's coming, it's going to come in bunches? Or how do you generate more of those turnovers?
Here's what I would tell you. I'm so tired, I'm trying to be mindful of my language, of talking about whatever it is we got to do. Mm-hmm. That's how they feel. We got to do. So I could talk about we're doing this, that. We just got to make it happen. Got to take the ball away. However it happens, that's what we got to do. So that's how I'm talking to him. You can see my whole mood and demeanor change. Done talking, we got to do. So we're unlucky. I mean, the language I would use right now, F that. But no, we got to do. That's what says just win, baby. We just got to do it. That's what we got to do. All right, thanks.
Well, a little stern at the end there, and I like it, man. It's true. Enough talking. Like, what strategically do I have to do, this and that? Like, you know what? The strategy may be perfectly fine. The cover 3 may be perfectly fine. It's just how we're playing within that scheme. And I think the tackling needs to get better. I think it's one of those things that's going to be on and off. You know, last week, 3rd down conversions, we had a lot of long 3rd down conversions. Then that was kind of a BS answer. We had a lot of 3rd down conversions that we let go. And we just need to be better. We need to be better. That's it. We need to play better. And I think the scheme is fine. I think the placement of the players is fine. I think they're where they're supposed to be. I just think that they're not executing properly. And a lot of times people want to say, oh, well, this guy stinks. This coach is terrible. That coach is terrible. This guy this guy that. But the players are the one that execute. And the players will be the first ones to tell you that. Now, if the team comes out there and they're, you know, lost and they're looking around and they're unprepared and this and that, I can understand attacking the coaches, but these coaches are pretty tenured coaches. These are standard offenses, defenses, things like that. It's just individual players are not getting it done. Individual players are being called on to do their job every single play, and certain players just are letting it fall by the wayside. It's hard, man. It's hard to really put your finger on things when you're 1-4 and you've turned the ball over so many times. I don't put the offense really on Chip Kelly. I think there's some things that he can do different. I think he can be more run heavy. I think he can play off a play action more. I think we could be under center to be able to influence the linebackers more. But ultimately, I don't see what he's calling as like egregious or anything. It's just Geno Smith making late reads, throwing balls late, not being as accurate as he needs to be. And there you go with the interception. So offensively, if you have a bad play from your quarterback, it's very difficult to have anybody on your team offensively look good. So it's really hard to kind of pinpoint, is it the scheme? Is it just the players? Because I see a lot of people running open. Geno Smith is just not finding them. So I don't really see that being the issue. Defensively, I see people in the right position. They're just not making the tackle. Now, would I have liked a little bit tighter zone on some of these 3rd down plays? Sure. But ultimately, if you're a run up and tackle type of defense, you have to run up and tackle. You can't just let them catch the ball and go run around you, right? Let's listen to what Pete Carroll had to say in his final press conference before the game. This is what he had to say yesterday.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Go.
Pete, got a chance to see your punter today. So any update on AJ and then also Brock Bowers?
AJ kicked the ball really well today, and somewhat limited in the numbers, but he boomed the ball today. So I can't imagine, unless something changes between now and game time, that he should be kicking for us. So it was really good. It was a really encouraging day. Brock, we continue to hold him out. We're not quite there yet, and we got to make sure we're taking care of him and all that. And so we're working hard to do that, and that's what we're trying to ensure that once he's back, he stays back and he's good, and there's no setbacks.
Does that mean that he's out for Sunday? Or?
Yes, that's basically where we're going. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Pete, when your offense is scoring 16.6 points a game and it's struggling, what do you attribute that to? You put it to one thing, or is it?
Yeah, we've had a bunch of turnovers. Had a bunch of turnovers in games, and you can't win. What a great illustration last night of a game to watch the Giants in Philadelphia. They run for 170 something yards, and they're +2 in the turnover ratio in a game. I mean, that's enough right there to tell you. And they were fortunate that they played well on third down, and Philly didn't. And so there's particular makeups of the game that really make a difference. And taking care of the football is absolutely primary focus. Unfortunately, we're not doing that well enough yet.
What are you building towards in terms of what do you want the identity of this team to be?
Yeah, we want to be a really well-rounded, balanced football team. That means you can count on all three phases, and we're doing well and coming through. Whether you turn the ball over by them taking the ball off an interception, or you give them a field goal, a field position change with a return, those are turnovers. It's all the same thing. They're not listed the same, but they have the same impact on the games. So we have to get rid of all that stuff. That can't be part of our play. And the runs and passes that we call, the defenses we call, the pressures that we call, that's part of it. But we have to make sure that the big results are in our favor, and then we have to clean our stuff up across the board. So we've always looked to be that kind of a team. And one of the real elements of that is running the football. And so we're working hard. I think we continue to improve and see good signs that we're getting better running the football.
You had Michael Mayer out of concussion protocol back at practice. What have you seen out of him?
He's fine. He's fine. He had a great week. He did everything.
Geno averages the fourth highest time to throw in the league. Is that stat a problem for you? And if so, how do you help him?
Always, sure. We want the ball out. Yeah, we would want the ball out much quicker than that. That's not been consistent with his pass. But so we got to do better.
Hey, your special teams is tied for 31st in the NFL, and I'm just curious about your style. Do you get more? I know you're very involved. Do you get more involved when one area seems to really be struggling?
I try to be available for our guys constantly in all phases. So certainly, if something comes up, we'll spend more time on it because we need the attention to the detail of it. But it's really the big plays that are the ones that we got to get rid of, and that's the couple blocks and a couple returns.
When you guys have eliminated those plays, you've been in a competitive football team. Is that a cause for more ratio of the frustration between hopefulness too? That look, if those are eliminated, we're competitive.
It's all these guys have been hearing, and we have to act on the approach and the mentality, the philosophy about taking care of the football is it's the first words I talk about from day one. So it's frustrating to me that I'm not getting the results that I'm used to. We've had teams, the last couple teams I coached, by the time I left them, we were plus 100 something, in turnover ratio, and so we haven't turned that corner yet. But it can happen. It can happen in a flash, and usually it happens in bunches when it happens. And so from this point forward, there's still. Let me give you a number here. If you're +1 in turnover ratio in a game, you win 70-something% of the time. Okay, so let's get to plus this week. Let's get to plus next week, and let's see what happens to our football team. You'll see the whole complexion of the games change.
Pete, I know you guys play a lot of single high cover 3 on defense. I know you did that quite a bit in Seattle. Just what are the advantages of playing in that type of coverage?
The advantages and whatever coverage you choose, like when Tampa was my best guy ever, Monty Kiffin was coaching cover 2 there in Tampa 2. They did it better than the guys could attack them. That's if you can play it better than they're attacking you, you know how they're going to come after you, you know what they're doing, then you can play really fast with confidence and aggressive, and that's it. It doesn't. You can be a man-to-man team. It doesn't matter. It's what you do. You got to do it really, really well, and That's really that's ball.
Kind of along those lines, what areas are you working on most with Caillou? They've obviously tested him a lot through the first couple weeks of the season here.
Yeah, he has been challenged quite a bit, and they've got him a couple times on things that occur. He's learning. He's a rook playing the position for us. There's going to be some bumps along the way. We'll continue to try to make sure that we're keeping it in mind, try to help him build his kind of growth at the position. And but that when plays like that happen, it opens the door for other guys to get opportunities too. So, but we have to do our part as coaches first.
How did Eric Stokes look in practice? I saw yesterday he was upgraded to being a full participant.
He was what?
Eric Stokes. So how has he looked at practice this week? I know yesterday he was upgraded to being a full participant.
Yeah, he's fine. He's ready to go. Yeah, he ran Monday and Tuesday and felt good. So we started the week with him going. He's been fine.
When you say opening the door for other players, is Darian Porter somebody that?
Of course. Yeah. I thought that was obvious. Yes.
Good. All right.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, guys.
There we go again. Pete poo-pooed the whole cover 3 thing. It's not about the coverage. It's not about the scheme. It's about the execution. You can run any scheme you want. You can run the old, Buddy Ryan 46 defense. It doesn't matter. As long as you do it better than the offense attacks it, it's a good defense. So it really doesn't matter what defense they're running. It just depends on the execution of what they're calling. And ultimately, right now, the execution hasn't been great against the pass. That's a couple things. You had a thin secondary already, and you lose Lonnie Johnson, which forces Isaiah Polamalu more of a coverage guy as opposed to more of a box guy. That's not optimal. And then you get injury to Eric Stokes, which has a thin cornerback room, even thinner. Then you're not getting the pressure from guys that aren't named Maxx Crosby against a quarterback, which allows more time for the quarterback to throw. You got guys like Devin White giving up 6 for 6 in targets and missing 3 tackles. It's tough to be able to contain offenses and getting them off the field defensively if you're doing those things. So it's about execution. We have who we have on this team. Can we add a player here and there? Sure, but they're not going to be a super impactful player because teams want to keep those guys. So right now we have to play with who we have. We have to do the best we can to coach these players up to play within the schemes that we're using right now. That's the big theme I see right now. That's the big theme. We've heard it from Chip Kelly. We heard it from Patrick Graham. We heard it now from Pete Carroll. It's not about the scheme that's being called. It's not about the plays that's being called. It's about how we execute what is being called. So ultimately, I see us really focusing this game, which should be, I don't want to say easy, but an easier game than the previous games, to really buckle down on our execution, really focus on the run game, really focus on getting pressure on the quarterback and running up and securing our tackling if the passes are completed. I see us, again, covering the 5.5. I see us being under the 41.5 because it's going to be a heavy dose of Ashton Genty, and that clock's going to be running tick, 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 tick. So more time running off the clock means less possessions. Less possessions means less chances to score. Because of that, I see us both getting under the 41.5. If you want to take advantage of that, go ahead and go to MyBookie. I have all of my social media, and I have all of my sponsors that are on the link tree in the description. Go ahead and check all of them out. Use the promo code SOTO. It's going to be able to give you some freebies on there if you decide to join. I would greatly appreciate supporting the channel and supporting me to help bring this stuff to you guys. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free, and it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing not just watch the video. On top of that, we have the Shield Society. Shield Society, you guys know what it is. It's $5 a month. It's a membership. You get the videos right away. Even though I schedule for a later time, you get them right when I upload them. On top of that, you get the free live watch party with me. You get to hear my analysis, my takes. You get to hear me cheer. You get to hear me boo, all that stuff. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to jump on the video and do the same. Who else is going to give you that? On top of that, you get some freebies. All right. I'm going to send out the freebies. I'm waiting to send out the freebies because I want to have everyone send me their information who's in the Shield Society. I have a few left that haven't sent me their info. If you're in the Shield Society, get at me. Find me somehow. DM me, get on my socials, whatever, and give me your information. I will send you some free stuff. I want to get it all done at once. I don't want to be piecing together here and there. So make sure you give me all the info so I can send the stuff out to you. Nothing crazy, but just a little token of my appreciation to you guys. All right, guys, I need to do one thing for me, though. Tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going in Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button, drop a comment, make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.